video here on what I like to call the perfect solution. I have been promising a lot of my customers this video for some time, and I apologize that I have been late to get it posted, but here it is. So when we install graphics, there are two ways to install. You can do a dry apply or a slip surface wet apply. On 95% of the kits that I sell, I recommend doing the wet apply. There is a solution you need to make or buy to do this wet apply. If you don't want to watch the rest of this video and you want to get on with installing your graphics kit you bought from DarkSide Studios, I'm just going to get right to it. This is the best thing you can do. Buy yourself some Rapid Tac 2 off Amazon. Now, rest assured, you don't need to buy a full-size gallon like this. Thankfully, they come in little 4-ounce bottles like this. I did an entire boat, and I only used about half of this bottle. Let me show you the boat. Here is a Pro Boat Sonic Wake I just finished for a customer. This is the Team USA kit done in a matte finish with a chrome base. As you can see, it is bubble-free, okay? So I'm going to show you the mixture that I used and the products that I used to achieve this bubble-free application. That particular boat, I used this solution. It's fantastic. It's non-oily. It's got just the right amount of viscosity to get the air bubbles out. I recommend going on Amazon and getting yourself a bottle of this. If you are a do-it-yourselfer and you want to make your own mixture, get yourself a bottle that has never had a chemical in it, right? You're going to fill it up with tap water to a quart, and you are going to put a half of a teaspoon of dish soap in it and 2 to 3 ounces of isopropyl alcohol, which I actually have right here. This is 99%. I'm telling you, by the time, unless you have these products sitting at home, by the time you get done with this, you're better off just getting one of these off Amazon. I would sell these, but what happens is I don't want to be shipping these chemicals around the world with your graphics, and it's easier to just get it from Amazon for the $6.50 that it is. It's available worldwide. Whether you're watching this in the Netherlands, Canada, doesn't matter. You'll be able to get Rapid Tac 2 in this little tiny container. I'm going to go over a couple different things about graphic slip surfaces and dry installations. I have some samples here. This is a chrome that we use here at the studio. This chrome is very special. It's designed for really hard to stick to applications. This is not the type of chrome that you stick to a car like a vinyl wrap. This adhesive on the back of this is like a fly trap. This particular material has an air egress technology, and you can see it's got the channels back there. It's designed to be dry applied. Now, I know that there's probably people out there that'll say you cannot wet apply a dry apply film. I'm here to tell you that this film you can. That boat I just showed you was done with this exact film. It's a dry apply film, but I used a fluid to do it. This film has been manufactured for products like this. This is from a Raptor 700. This is a very low surface energy type of plastic. This is a common plastics for dirt bikes, quads, things like that. And so it was engineered to go onto something like this that's hard to stick to, and then be able to just pull it up without any resistance while you're working with the heat and trying to get it down. And it works great for that. However, if you ordered something from DarkSide for something other than ATV plastics or dirt bike plastics, this is not going to react the same way if you were to try to install it on a Lexan RC body or the type of plastics on most RC boats, X-Max bodies, things like that. If you go to lay this down on anything other than dirt bike plastics, see how much harder that is to get up? You can hear it, right? This has a higher surface energy than ATV and dirt bike plastics. So you're probably saying, well, what's the big deal? Well, the big deal is if you do that enough, or you let it on there for more than the split second that I did, you're going to distort that adhesive on the back just enough that you're going to see it in the final presentation. So like the boat I showed you, you could see it had a nice smooth finish. I would have lost that smooth finish if I did a dry apply on that and lifted it up and put it back down a bunch of times. If you order a product from me that I'm telling you to do a wet apply with that has air egress channels, I will put a yellow card inside your package letting you know special instructions on how to accomplish the install with a wet apply. Now keep in mind, if you're going through your installation and you're doing a wet install like on the boat I showed you, and you've got just a little tiny decal, sure, you can dry apply that. That's not a big deal. Where it becomes a big deal is when you're trying to manage these big graphic pieces and you're doing a dry apply and it will fall down onto the substrate. And then you got to lift it up. Every time you do that, you're picking up dust, you're picking up dirt. I just don't like it. I don't think it's the easiest way for beginners to do an install. I think the easiest way is with a wet apply. Let me just show you how a dry apply does work. So this is a clear piece of Lexan. I'm just going to wipe down the Lexan here so I know it's nice and clean before I do this. It does have some residue and dirt on that side. Please ignore that. If you do a dry apply with an air egress film from DarkSide, lay it down nice and soft like this. Okay? Don't push hard on your first few passes. I'm taking a felt tip squeegee and I'm just doing a very soft push down. I mean, I am barely pushing, just enough to make contact. And as you can probably see from that side, there should be no air pockets whatsoever. Once you do that, you can come back with some more moderate pressure. And likewise, heavier pressure after that. And as you can see, there are no air bubbles. There is a little glitch right here, but that was just a little indentation in the vinyl because it's a piece of scrap. But you can see that it is perfect. Okay? I'm going to pull that up so that I can show you now how to do a wet apply. Now see how hard it is to pull this up? That is how strong this adhesive is. If that were sitting on this red piece of plastic for the same amount of time, it would not have bonded that much that quickly. It would have taken a lot longer to accomplish that. Here, I have the same material. I'm going to show you how to do it with the Rapid Tap, which is my choice. You're going to spray it down, and you'll take your vinyl. And yes, I know, again, it's air egress. That's okay. This will work, I promise. And we will lay it down on here like so. So you can see it. I'm going to turn it this way. So I'm going to start up here and just very lightly begin it like that. The water's coming out. I have already squeegeed the entire thing lightly so far. So now I'm going to put a little bit more pressure. Okay. I'm going to go the opposite direction. And we should have a perfect install. As you can see, we do. These little blips here is actually scratches on this side of the Lexan, but there is zero air inside of there. Now, when you do a wet install on my chrome materials or my honeycomb materials or anything with the yellow card that comes inside your package, there are some extra instructions, like I said, extra precautions. This needs to cure a lot longer than a dry install if you're going to take your boat out on the lake, your RC car to the track, whatever the case may be. Okay? And as you can see, this comes up a lot easier because there's still a little bit of moisture left behind. It takes at least 24 hours for that to fully cure. Now, the other option is to use your soapy water mix. The process is the same. I'll do that for you. I have some, what do I have here? I have some white material. This is a non-air egress, which means you absolutely have to use a wet apply. Unless, again, it's a real tiny sticker and you think you can curl it on there, you're going to want to use a wet apply. I'll give you an example. I just did a 1/5 scale truck, and a lot of the pieces were small, about the size of a $50 or less, but there were some pieces that were big, like the hood. The hood had a bunch of appendages that kind of came off. It was like a spider, For me to try to dry install that, and with the aggressiveness of this adhesive, let it touch the plastic of the truck and then have to lift it off, it would make a mess. And like I said, this is the best way to go. This mixture was a quart of tap water in a bottle that's never had chemicals in it. So you're going to need a bottle. You're going to need a quart of water. I put in a 1/2 teaspoon of dish soap and 2 to 3 ounces of isopropyl alcohol, 99%. So when you think about all that, right, you got to have one of these. You got to get yourself some isopropyl alcohol. By the time you get done with all that, it's easier just to spend the $6.50 and get one of these. But I am going to go over this in case you want to do it this way. Process is the same. You're going to mix up your solution. You're going to spray it down. You can see the soap suds. You will take your vinyl, spray it down, and it goes on there. And you can see I can slide it around. Let me turn it this way. This is the sticky side here. And you can see what's going on back there. I'm going to start from the top with my felt tip squeegee, very lightly. Start to work it out. The soap is doing its job by creating this viscous environment for the water to go and the vinyl to make contact. Continue to work it down. Now, you probably did not hear any snap, crackle, and popping while I was squeegeeing, and that's because I have a lot of soap in this mix. Things are good. If you're squeegeeing that down and you hear a snap, crackle, pop, you do not have enough viscosity, i.e. soap in your mix. Do not continue your installation. You need to reassess your mixture. So if you look at this, again, I've got some residue here. I will remove that so it's easier for you guys to see. I don't want you to confuse that for bubbles. There's just some residue there from a previous example I did. You can see that is a bubble-free application, okay? There it is, nice and clean. Again, that was the soapy water mixture that I made. And it's very easy to lift up still because it needs time to cure. Again, cure times are covered in the instruction set. Some final tips and tricks that I would say that I've used for different projects that I've done. Let me grab the boat again while I'm here. So you can see this entire piece, for example, was huge. And, I used Wrap Attack. In the past, I've used the soapy water mix, but I've recently switched to the Wrap Attack 2. Something along the size of this windshield, I still use the Wrap Attack 2 because it didn't hurt me. I wasn't in a hurry. I let it float around. I moved it around. And I took my squeegee and I just squeegeed it out. There's a strip on this boat right here that's kind of tiny. I did install that dry because it was so narrow. I had a friend help me hold the rest of the strip back while I sort of pinstriped it along. So you sort of pick and choose your battles with what to do a dry apply on and what not to. The smaller it is, the less you want to do the wet because it kind of slides around too much and there's not enough real estate of the graphic to really bite a hold and you end up kind of getting a sloppy install. You'll figure that out as you go because you'll feel how much it slides based on the size of the graphic. If you are installing DarkSide Studio Chrome products on ATV plastics, yeah, you can probably get away with a dry apply using a heat gun, again, included in the instructions. You can also do a wet apply if you want on those machines. Start with what appears to be an easy piece, whether it's RC, quads, or dirt bikes. And ask yourself, is the process that I just went through easy? Do I have air bubbles? Can I see myself doing a bigger piece than this in that same method? And judge the rest of your installation on that question. If you're having problems and you can't figure them out, it's easy for me to rule out most things for you. Shoot me an email. We'll converse back and forth, talk about your mixture, how much heat you're using, and I'm happy to help you out. Again, thanks for watching the video. I hope this has helped you get you started in your next customization project from DarkSide Studios.